The Holy Roman Empire dominated the world completely. I mean, it is 1941. Do we want to talk about insanity? Perfect stability, almost perfect war support, insane manpower, insane amount of factories. Amazing, perfect armored templates with mechanized, the best possible tanks, insane stats. And not only we control all of this stuff and all of this stuff indirectly or directly through our puppets, well, we also cored all of this stuff. This is our core, it's not just controlled. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Historical Germany is probably one of the most powerful countries in Hearts of Iron 4. But what if I told you that the non-aligned path, despite going through a bloody civil war, can become even stronger? In today's video, I will not only explain why, I will share with you an amazing secret path that allows us to form both the European Union and the Holy Roman Empire incredibly early, fixing one of historical Germany's main flaws, the lack of coring potential. If that sounds interesting, you're in the right place. If you have any questions, as usual, feel free to ask in the comments and make sure to join our Discord to meet our amazing community. As always, if you enjoy the content I make, please do not forget to support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, and leaving me a comment. That said, let's get started. And as usual guys, you can find all research and focus priorities in the description of the video, so they will not be covered in the edited version. And you can get access to the dedicated spreadsheet by purchasing a tier 2 membership to the channel. For our very aggressive strategy, we go with military factories right away in these provinces. This is going to be our military production priority. For what concerns the navy, all I usually do is I decrease the production of these older models to just the one being built, and then I just leave it to default and add more submarines at the end. So I will rename the divisions to make it easier to follow the spreadsheet and also to reward tier 3 members of the channel, starting with Dr. Hoops, which will get our ARM template. Later we'll completely remake it and improve it significantly. Andrew will get our Inf today. And Mark will get our motorized today. And then later on, do not worry, Aiden Malcolm, I have something for you. We just don't have it yet. It will come later. So what we want to do with the army is we want to gather all of them in this area here. You can use a fallback line like this. You can train them, but they should all be trained already. What we do want to do as well is we want to recruit another 22 infantry divisions in the area of Hanover. Now, we're not going to cheese the civil war. We're not going to use any tricks except a good strategy to win it. So half of these divisions will go to our opponents, but we still want to have some of them for us. Then we're going to gather and train all of our planes here in the south. Planes actually do play an important role. And we're going to create an agency. With that, our setup is already done. We're going to import and adjust the trade for now. We're not going to do it during the Civil War, though. Here we're going to pick We Mustn't Placate. Now, I also want to mention a couple of things here. I think this is a good timing. For our strategy, I chose to go with absolutely no cheese, and I did that not because you shouldn't. Of course, in single player, you can do whatever you want. But when you play as such a powerful country as Germany, I didn't feel like cheesing the civil war or starting a justification right away, because that's something you can do. Even though we're going non-aligned, a good idea could be to start a justification, for example, on the Netherlands or on the Dutch East Indies before you get into the civil war, so you retain the claim after the civil war. Actually, you don't lose anything by not doing that if you follow carefully the strategy that I'm about to share with you. So you will see how we will get all of the claims we need when we need them. Okay, the first focus is done, which means we are in a civil war right away. Now, the civil war, without cheesing it, can be a little tricky, so it's important to follow the strategy carefully. Starting with the army positioning. Now, we got these new 24 very bad units, which are going to cover the entire front. Then we have the starting ones, which were in here. We're actually going to remove one mountaineer from them, and we're going to keep these 14 divisions to do most of the pushing. These are the best divisions we have available. And the first push we want to do is right in here. So we want to cut off, ideally, the southern part of Germany here and kill all of the Nazi divisions down here. And the light tanks are actually very good for this. So if spearheads worked, spearhead would be the best option, but since they don't work, it's better to go with an offensive line and then micro them a little bit. Now we're also going to immediately force deploy all of these divisions, merge them with the Mountaineer, and use them to cover or help defend the northern part all the way up to here. Then we're going to give them a Marshal. You have two options. Now this one is better because you keep him, but this one has better stats. I usually go with this one despite the fact that we lose him right after the Civil War. We can immediately get the offensive doctrine this way. Give them the highest motorization priority, aggressively execute battle plans, and the setup is basically done. Just don't forget about your planes. So planes split between the offensive army and the 24 defensive army, which will cover the entire front. We're also going to assign our spy and send him to spy in the north. Finally, we are going to use the political power to pick the army organization expert and the infantry expert. And we want to start pushing with these guys as soon as possible. We don't want to wait for planning or for organization. We just want to push right away. And we need to micro them a little bit. Ideally, what we want to do is we want to push in these directions. Here we are going to pick the second option. No communists for us. Okay, we already managed to cut off the southern part, but here there is another potential encirclement, if we can get it. And it's looking pretty nice, if we can close this one and this one quickly. It's not mandatory, by the way, even if you don't get them, it's okay. Now, I'm not doing anything crazy in terms of microing. If you want to watch the unedited version to see exactly what. One example of microing is this one here. So you can see this division is moving in München, which is currently not defended. We have two divisions here. You can send one to stop him and the other one to München. And if they don't react fast enough, you will get it, as it happened here. And the other thing, guys, when pushing that you always want to pay attention to is where the hubs are. As you can see, there is a hub in here, and until we take it, all of this area will be out of supplies. But this is perfect. Now at this point, once you only have the southern part to push, you can reassign these divisions to push in the south, and the 24 bad divisions only to cover the north, which will start being under a bit of pressure. So now, as soon as you get to 20 army experience, go and pick political loyalty, the first spirit. Everything is looking very good so far. This part of the Civil War is going very smoothly. As you can see, even without cheesing it, they're doing a great job. Now that the southern part is taken care of, we're going to plan the next push, which will be up in the north. From these two tiles here, this time we can try to use a spearhead and then micro a bit. And the idea is to rush Berlin, so we want to push straight in here. Now pushing in the north is particularly convenient because we can use the navy to support our divisions. And here we are going to pick a new whatever that is. Okay, when you're almost ready, push in the north, try to do it fast, need to keep them under pressure and use the navy and naval invasion support. And now you will see that this massively helps pushing faster. And usually when I start pushing the north, I start pushing with everyone everywhere. So we push in the other areas as well. Now, ideally here we want to rush Berlin. So that's what we're going to try and do. We should be able to get it. Yeah, we got Berlin already. Okay, very fast. The light tanks really help with this stuff. And after Berlin, the next priority is to cut them off in here. And then you just rush these victory points to end the Civil War. It's very easy. Hitler is dead. We don't mind. This is one of the reasons why we push with everyone. So we pin all of their divisions and we prevent them ideally from getting here. And as you can see, that worked very well. And now we can just shift click all of these tiles, rush these victory points and quickly end the Civil War. Now it will be over, sure. Yeah. Okay, the Civil War is over. It is only May, the 12th of May, 1936. So even without choosing it, we finished it very, very quickly. Now, after the Civil War is over, you start getting a new event that we haven't gotten yet. Well, this one, but that's not the one that worries me. And we have one extra focus. Now, this is one that you could skip technically if you finish the Civil War at this point and pick this one before that. But for the sake of consistency, I'm going to go for this one and then this one. So when you get the facility back, start back the military engineering vehicles special project. regardless of the focus that we are going to get soon, we are going to start prioritizing repairs over the regular constructions, and especially repairing all of the civilian factories first. Now we're going to create a new cavalry template, an empty one with just one cavalry, this one here, that we're going to use simply for garrisoning. We're going to change to local police force plus cav. We're going to gather back our navy, stop the naval invasion support. We're going to change our planes. We're going to change the BF, which is the fighting one, to my usual F1CA. This is actually a very good design. Save it, out-upgrade it. And then the other one, the one that is used as CAS, ideally I would like to use it as a CAS, but for some reason it says that I don't have dive brakes, despite them being right here. So we're going to have to do this one manually, because this feature doesn't work in this case, and to do it we just do something like this, and that's our C1, nothing special. And we also want to gather and train again all of our planes. Now we're going to do something which may look a little bit crazy with our armies, so you will see. First of all, we're going to duplicate our infantry, and we are going to create our offensive template. Name it Malcolm. So here we get our off as well. Then we're going to cancel these divisions we were recruiting, and we're going to start recruiting the max amount of offensive divisions. By the way, we didn't change the template so far, we'll do it a little bit later. For now we just want to start recruiting them. But, very important, you don't want to deploy them, so no location, okay? Just keep them in training. And then we are going to disband everything. So, select these ones and disband them, select these ones, disband them. And these ones, we will get an event very shortly, which will allow us to disband them too. We are going to pick hang them first, and then attempt to disband them, which means we have no army at all. And this is all part of the strategy, a very important part of the strategy. As you get to 150 political power, we can pick the influential pastor. Political power is very important in our run, so we're going to try and boost it as much as possible. We are now going to pick the monarchist jurist. And at 50 political power, we're going to pick this special decision down here, sharpen air safety regulations. This is actually absolutely mandatory for this strategy, so don't forget about it. At this time, we should be close to having enough army experience to change our off. And this is the goal for the final template. I also like to add recon, but we don't have the army experience yet, so for now we'll stick to this. And there we go with the recon. Perfect. The UK going fascist is potentially annoying. We'll need to see. As soon as you complete this focus, you will get an event. And since we don't have an army, we will get this event here. And we can pick the second option. Perhaps they have a point. Now you will see what happens now. So instead of Wilhelm II, we get Wilhelm III, who is quite bad, but we'll not keep him for very long. Now at this point, we want to improve relations and send our spy on diplomatic pressure in the UK, because we want to get a non-aggression pact with them. As soon as you get the military engineering vehicles, start producing them. We're going to dedicate only one factory to them, taken from infantry equip. As soon as we complete this focus, Belgium will always give up the Congo, or at least I never experienced anything else. So you get the Congo. And at this point, we need to wait until it becomes entirely ours. At this point, since we don't have an army, if we go into occupied territory and release these new puppets, as puppets, including Congo, what's going to happen is that Belgium is going to declare war on us, and that's very convenient because they are now guaranteed by France and the UK, so that would be annoying to take them down. But they attack us, which is absolutely great. So we pick rearmament as always been. And now we can finally deploy our army. And we can deploy them somewhere in here. No, let's go on and force deploy them. Let's pick a new marshal. Let's give them the usual Günther. Aggressively execute, motorization priority. We're also going to start recruiting another 2 offensive divisions and the max amount of infantry. Now let's slow down the speed a little bit. We don't need to do anything special in here, but I like to let Belgium advance just a little bit because otherwise this becomes a pretty bad choke point. The bigger the front, the easier it is actually to push them. So nothing too challenging in any case, nothing to worry about. By the way, I will soon have an epic guide for Belgium for you guys, including some usage for these epic bicycle people. Some Tour de France happening. This would be enough. Okay, and we can simply annex Belgium. Now that Belgium is under our control, we can force deploy and start training the new divisions as soon as possible, as we prepare these guys for the Netherlands. The other army will be here at the border with France. The United Kingdom will always, in my experience, again accept mutual cooperation, but if they don't, that's a bit of a problem for our strategy, so I would recommend restarting. Luckily it's not too late into the run. So next we're waiting to have exactly 400 political power. There we go. So at 400 political power, what we're going to do is we're going to pick this decision here. Then the next one, modernize the succession laws. Then request restoration of British titles. That will consume all of our political power. We will get an event. So here we're going to pick the first option, the one that costs 50 political power. And what's going to happen to our epic guy here is that he's going to burn alive. There we go. The Kaiser is dead. And what we do is we get the Kaiserin in charge. Now, they did her dirty because you saw the thumbnail of this video. Victoria was pretty good looking. The girl was hot, man. And not so much in this portrait, but still, she's very, very cool. And she has some very nice modifiers, as you can see. But we're going to give her even better modifiers as we continue to run. Now that we got her, we also got a focus that was not here before, which is this one here, Restore the Holy Roman Empire. Now, she's actually not required to get this focus. If you complete this one, this will appear even without her, as long as you're non-aligned. Still, it's pretty cool. Now, we want a total of 24 offensive and 48 infantry divisions, so we're going to recruit another 24 infantry divisions. At this point, we also want to start building military factories, and that's what we're going to do for the rest of the run, so I will not mention it anymore, always in the best possible available provinces. Now, as soon as we complete this focus, in a few days, we're going to get new colonies, and we're going to release them right away. Ideally, we don't want to keep any non-core territory outside of Belgium, because that will increase, so these ones too. And we're also going to return South Africa, because it's going to increase the amount of consumer good factories, malices we get from the economy of conquest. Now, what's way more important is as soon as you complete this focus, you will get some nice war goals. You get one on the Netherlands, and you get one on France, which is great. And speaking of France, one thing I forgot to do is spy them in here. We could have done that with the previous focus. It's not mandatory. So now what we want to do is we want to declare war on the Netherlands or on the Dutch East Indies. I usually check the Dutch East Indies first, but as you can see, they are guaranteed by France. Now we're going to attack France in any case very soon, but ideally we want to take care of the Netherlands first. So we're going to declare war on the Netherlands directly. We're going to start immediately this offensive. We just want to be very careful that we declare war on the Dutch East Indies before the Netherlands Cup, unless they call them. So let's slow down a bit, let's see what happens. But if they don't call them fast, before they go down, we do need to do that ourselves. Yeah, okay, they're not going to do it fast enough. So we're going to declare war on the Dutch East Indies, which means we're at war with France. That's totally fine. Maybe we shouldn't train these divisions right now, though. At this point, we can also pick the spirits. We're going for motorization drive, maneuver warfare, and here the usual ones, when possible. Netherlands should be down. And so the Dutch East Indies, we should get a peace conference because there is no faction yet. And immediately, we're going to push into France with the idea of rushing Paris as fast as possible. Here is our peace conference. Now, in the peace conference, what we want to do is we want to puppet this stuff here. Puppet the Dutch East Indies and annex the Netherlands. Then, also very important, we want to get war reparations and resource rights. So now here, no need for particular micro. It's very easy to take down France, but ideally you want to rush Paris as fast as possible. So, and as usual, as soon as Paris goes down, France goes down as well. Not bad, right? So when it comes to France, it's very important that we do not forget to annex any of their cores. So including Corsica, all of mainland France. There we go. As for the rest, you can do whatever you want with it, but I like balkanizing them a little bit. Usually go all the way to Tunisia and then just puppet the rest. And very important, once again, don't forget the resource rights and war reparations, and it may be worth mentioning that if you don't have by blood alone, it's probably better if you annex everything rather than puppeting, because you will need them for autarky achieved later on. I knew I counted wrong. I need another 2 inf. Yeah, okay, well, no big deal. Now you can pick doctrines as well. So at this point, now that France is down, we generated a huge amount of war tension, which means we can justify war goals. And we're going to justify one on Luxembourg and one on Italy at the same time, right away. What we also want to do is we want to start spying on the UK. And we want to plan a naval invasion of the UK right away. Now, since we definitely have the navy to do it, I'm going for the usual naval invasion. So, groups of 2 in the southern area of the UK. So, what we are doing next is we want to check something. So, right now, yeah, okay, we are still guaranteed by the UK. So, we need to complete this focus to lose the guarantee of the UK. I will show you why that's important. As soon as we complete this focus, we should no longer be guaranteed by the UK. That's the case. So at this point, the UK should guarantee, very shortly, Portugal, since we have a claim on Portugal. Need to wait a little bit. I do expect them to guarantee Portugal. There we go. So the UK now guarantees the independence of Portugal. And at exactly 150 political power, we are ready to invade the UK. Luckily, they haven't turned fascist yet. So we might make it just in time. That's very good. There is a bit of RNG as always when you change ideology as a major. So we're going to use the usual strategy, which involves splitting around our submarines and setting them on convoy raiding all around the UK except for the channel. And the rest of the fleet will be in the channel on naval invasion support. Just give a second for the submarines to be in position. Once everything is in position, we are going to declare war on Portugal. And we are going to declare war on Siam. Since we also have a claim in here, just make sure that they are not guaranteed by anyone else, but it should be fine. They should both join the allies. And let's start our naval invasion right away. Okay, the UK joined, perfect. And the naval invasion triggered. It's also perfect. Okay, there is also a civil war in the UK right now, so we got it just in time. So, what's going to happen with the civil war? I'm not entirely sure. The fascist part of the UK is not at war with us. So that means probably we need to share the score with them, though. Certainly it's going to make the invasion of the UK easier. And by the way, we are going to pick right away war economy. That's why we waited for 150 political power. Now, this civil war in the UK is something you would normally not have. It's only RNG. Though you know what? We actually can get a claim on the UK, on the other UK very quickly. Okay, I think we got time. So I think the change at this point is, yeah, we're just going to justify on fascist UK as well. And we're going to end this war. And we're just going to take care of them. I mean, we get a very fast war in the UK, for sure. And yeah, the UK is already down. We got most of the score, unfortunately, not all of it. I think my idea is we take one province from the UK, just one. The rest we take from the other UK. We try to maybe take all of the puppets. Ideally, in this peace conference, you would puppet or annex the UK, up to your preference. Annex this area to invade the US later on, that's actually important, and then puppet everything else with resource rights and war reparations. That's actually very, very important. Okay, I just want to make sure that they didn't leave anything. Okay, and then we're going to take the Navy, or as much of the Royal Navy as we can. So hopefully we took everything from the UK, and all that is left is this fascist British Empire. Now we're going to get a claim on them in 80 days and a claim on Luxembourg a bit sooner than that. So we're going to prepare an army for Luxembourg. Of course, as you can imagine, Luxembourg is not much of a challenge. So this other army we're going to use at the border with Italy, but first we want to train them. Oh, actually, I miscalculated. We got the claim on the UK before the claim on Luxembourg. That's very good. Let's take care of these easy, much easier UK. I don't expect this to be much of a challenge, as we also get Luxembourg. After Luxembourg. We need to annex Luxembourg. And now in order to get autarky achieved, we need to capitulate the United Kingdom, and we should be able to do it in time. Perfect. So we got the UK just in time without losing a single day of our focus. Probably better to balkanize them a little bit, but ultimately I think we can just puppet them. Again, very important to take the resource rights, as that will allow us to get autarky achieved right away. And we can take another good chunk of the Royal Navy. Let's confirm. Now these should allow us to bypass this focus and immediately go for autarky achieved, except we also bypass this one and immediately go for autarky achieved. So in 70 days, autarky achieved in 1938. Not bad. Now, no time to rest, as we need to plan a naval invasion of Italy. We will get our claim fairly soon, so we want to prepare from here. We're now going to prepare this army at the border with Italy and the other army at the border with Austria. And speaking of Austria, we're also going to improve relations with Austria and with Hungary. And we're going to pick this decision right here. We can also move our much improved navy to the Mediterranean Sea, where we will use them next. Let's make sure to plan the invasion of Italy with this army, the offensive army, and I usually go with groups of 2 for the entire coast of Italy like this. As soon as you complete this research, you should be able to design the new tank, or good old tank. We are going for this design here, for this strategy. We are going to use proper armored divisions. Finally, I miss them so much. Although we don't have the army experience right now. And that's how we're going to get our army experience very soon, by declaring war on Italy and invading them right away. Everything is green, everything is cool. Let's go. Okay, landing is going well. Again, Italy usually not a major challenge, as you know. But at least we should have the required experience to design the tank finally. So this is the model we're going to use. Let's save it. Let's start producing it right away. And we're going to adjust the production a little bit. Okay, so here is the new production priority. Now, keep in mind that we are going to add the flame tank as soon as possible with 3 factories in between these two, taking them from the tanks. Now, we're also going to start a justification on Switzerland right away. It takes forever. Unfortunately, there is no other way. So that's how we're going to get Switzerland. Now, next, we want to justify on Yugoslavia. We need a little bit more political power. But look at that. Autarky achieved. Not bad. So there goes our consumer good factories. Yeah, definitely now we can make the flame tank. I don't know, what's wrong with these? When did they break these designs? Why can I not load my flame tank anymore? They did one good thing, they had to break it. So in any case, for the flame tank, we are going to do something very, very basic. So this is the flame tank we are going to use. Let's save it. As I mentioned, 3 factories to it. At this point, we also want to make some changes to our armored template. Let's start with the free ones, because we now lack a bit of army experience. But really, no surprises here. This is the usual template. We also want to use the Assault Engineer Company, and then as soon as possible, we will add the Medium Flame Tank Company. And we want to start recruiting them. We want to start recruiting 12 armored divisions. And for once, we don't care much about what Italy does with the civil war, because we are going to annex them anyway very easily. So, okay, I think now we can justify finally also on Yugoslavia. Let's do that. This is going to be slightly late because we had that extra claim to get on Britain, but it's fine. We want to force deploy these divisions as soon as possible, and we want to start training them. By the way, force deploying divisions means you lose more to attrition, but you do train them faster. So if you want to achieve maximum training in the shortest amount of time, force deploying them like we did is the best tactic. Okay, civil war, it will be over soon. Right away, okay. Not even time to do anything. Now, it doesn't matter much what we do here. We can just give all of the cores to our puppet Italy. And puppet the rest for ourselves. Perfect. Very good. Yeah, it's a bit too late for that. Now let's get ready for Austria, because they may refuse our annexation, annexation demands. And if they do, we are going to take care of them otherwise. We also want to start spying on the USSR. Austria, Austria. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Goodbye, Austria. They made the wrong choice. Austria, I love you so much, actually. One of my favorite countries. Last guide on Austria. I loved it. Absolutely. While Hungary does accept to join us. That's very cool. At 150 political power, we are going to pick this guy. And that will give us 2 additional spies that we're going to use to get collabs in the USSR on cooldown. As soon as we get them. Let's also add logistics to our armored templates. Also make them elite. Okay, Austria is down and it is ours. And boys, we're very happy with how everything is going here. Very happy that we managed the bed RNG with the UK perfectly. So the run is looking good. It's not done yet. Now let's see what Czechoslovakia does. Oh, they accept them. That's nice, because if they don't, you need to invade them to restore the Holy Roman Empire, but that's good for us. We are now going to pick the army reformer, and we're going to change our marshal. We want to promote the best guy we have available, which is likely to be this one. He carried on most of the offensives. We're going to promote him to be our new marshal. In fact, we can actually use both, and we can use this one as our defensive marshal with the infantry armies, and this as the good one with the offensive and armored armies. Oh, logistic wizard, yes. Yes. I also really like this one. Now, Yugoslavia is going to be our next target, so we may as well get ready for them. We can use the offensive template. I would really like to use our tanks, but in terms of training, it's probably gonna be close, but not exactly there yet. So, don't do like me, and don't forget to use your spies to make collaboration governments in the Soviet Union on cooldown. Okay, we got our claim on Yugoslavia, so it's time to go for them. Now, this would be an ideal situation if Czechoslovakia hasn't joined you peacefully, because you would get to annex them too, but sometimes they don't guarantee Yugoslavia at this point. So, in any case, they joined us, so that's not going to be a problem. And, of course, Yugoslavia is not going to be a problem. And as soon as you complete this focus, you unlock some new decisions. The most important one that we're going to pick right away is integrate the Italian civilian administration, which will annex Italy for us. The other thing is, if possible, we're going to puppet Hungary with this other decision here. Then we're going to improve relations with Greece, Albania, and Bulgaria. Okay, Yugoslavia is down, you can simply annex them. Yeah, martial lines don't get bugged, they said. Martial lines adapt to the front, they said. 48 divisions moving to this one tile. Boys, it is time for you. It's time for some armor in here. Move them here and spearhead the shit out of Bucharest. And we're almost there, boys. What happens now is Italy accepts the integration, so we annex them. I don't think they can refuse, they always accept. And more importantly, what we unlocked at this point is realize European unity, which means all of this highlighted stuff immediately becomes our core. That's the Benelux, France, and Italy. That's huge. We're going to do it right away. Look at us, the Union of European States. Now we have an insane industry, or we will have it soon in any case. So we're going to start recruiting another 12 armored divisions, and we're going to adjust the production. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the trucks to 15, F1CA, C1, and infantry equipment to 40, all taken from tanks. This hasn't adapted yet to the fact that we cored everything, so in a couple of days you will see the results of that. Yeah, there we go, okay. Now you can see that we got the factories, we got all of the factories. Now at this point we can also decrease the autonomy of the UK, that will also be a lot more factories. Now since we may need to integrate Hungary or Czechoslovakia we will need because this stuff is needed for the Holy Roman Empire. We need to keep around 150 political power for that. Other than that, we're going to use our political power from now on to invite these people into Mittel Europa. We can already annex Hungary, so let's go on and do that. Let's use our armored divisions. Oh, so good. So satisfying as the word joins our faction. Well, we are inviting Romania in a bit of a different way, but they will also join us. And Romania will join us very soon indeed. That's it. Put them, I believe. There goes Romania. You can annex them. I usually prefer to puppet them in this case, so we have a shorter border against the Soviet Union. But again, that's entirely up to you. You can core technically all of this stuff eventually with the European Union. Just takes time. As we also annex Hungary. Now, the only question I have is why can we not annex Czechoslovakia yet? I think we should have the decision here to annex Czechoslovakia, unless they refused something maybe? Okay, the next target should be Switzerland. We're almost at the end of this insanely long claim. Look at that. So we can prepare our armor divisions, which are not really the best to push in the mountains, but we don't care. Yeah, we want to force deploy again the armor divisions as fast as possible and start training them right away. As we complete this focus, our epic Kaiserin Victoria is getting even more modifiers. Look at that. So for some reason I cannot find a way to integrate Czechoslovakia, and I'm not sure exactly why, because usually you can do it same as the other ones, but if we cannot, then I guess we need to do it the hard way. Just going to wait for a little bit for this claim to end. And then I guess we're going to justify on them manually then. 135 days is not good. And we can take care of Switzerland. Incredibly painful Switzerland, as always. Let's go with armored first, and then let's see what happens. Now the last impossible tile to push. Okay, Switzerland is taken. We can annex them. That's perfect. Very happy. Now, since we kicked Czechoslovakia, we'll need to take care of them manually. Let's get ready for that. They have forts, but our armor divisions will chew through their forts. No problem. In the meanwhile, we can use our additional political power to invite more people to our faction. We have Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Yemen. We just need to improve relations with them first. Okay, we got the focus to restore the Holy Roman Empire. However, I don't think we can do that yet. Let me just check. Yeah, we cannot because we need the part of Czechoslovakia that we haven't gotten yet. So we'll need to be patient for just a few more days as we complete our claim. Okay, now that we can invite these people, we can stop improving relations to save political power. I mean, Czechoslovakia was a great example of what happens to people who join our faction. They get betrayed and backstabbed. So I think you should definitely join us. We'll also need to invade Poland soon, so we're quite busy on this front. I mean, as Germany should be. Now let's see what Poland does. As our faction grows stronger and stronger. Look at that. Peacefully too. Mostly. 50%. Okay, Czechoslovakia, it's time. I want my Holy Roman Empire. It's time to go. Yeah, let's go after Czechoslovakia. Again, nothing the real Germans wouldn't do. Did anyone mention forts? What forts? I don't see any forts here. Okay, Czechoslovakia is done. Let's annex them. And now we can finally revive the Holy Roman Empire. For the second consecutive guide, we become the Holy Roman Empire, this time as Germany. This time we are the European Union and the Holy Roman Empire, and we got Kaiserin of the people as our leader, Victoria. And this is all very cool, but could we end a run without invading the Soviet Union, playing as Germany? Come on, that doesn't feel right. We need to invade the Soviet Union. First of all, in good German tradition, let's get ready to invade Poland. We'll need to see what happens actually with Poland, because we're going to give them a chance to peacefully give us land. So we need to see what they decide to do. Now, as we complete this research, of course, we can upgrade our planes. For the fighter, we go for the usual design, nothing new. And so for the CAS. Now, Poland, what will you do? Wait a few days after this focus, see what they do. Okay, they accepted. And then if they accept, you can pick the next focus too. If they refused, you could invade them and bypass the next focus. Slightly better if you ask me, but still okay. Now, technically, at this point, to speed up things, you could justify on the Soviet Union, and that would be quite smooth and fast. However, I do like my collaboration governments in the Soviet Union, so we're not particularly in a hurry. We can take our time with Poland. Look at how surrounded they are. Such a bad spot. With billions of armored divisions on one side, the Soviet Union on the other side. Tough moments for Poland. We're going to start recruiting finally, Mark. You will see some action with 24 motorized divisions, which will just accompany our armored divisions as we push into the Soviet Union later on. Meanwhile, we are still puppeting people peacefully, so we haven't stopped expanding for 1 second. No, Poland. Poland just accepts everything. No. So Poland was so kind to us. They gave everything they had to us, so we're going to justify on them. It feels right. It feels like something Nazi Germany would do, although we are not Nazi Germany anymore. We have a tradition to keep on. So now that we are done with the puppeting stuff, we can start using these decisions to core even more land, though this is mostly cored already. But... Okay, we finally got mechanized, which means we can start producing something we need, kinda. Because as you can see, I was producing a lot of tanks. We're going to assign 150 military factories to mechanized. We're going to make Poland disappear from the map very quickly. Let's see how quickly. And as we complete this focus, we also have a claim on the Soviet Union. So very soon we're going to get ready for that. Okay, Poland is no more. Exactly. Actually, Poland is another country I really enjoyed playing. Where are my motorized? Here they are. Look at them. We're going to assign them both here, and we're going to keep them just behind our tanks. It doesn't matter if they are not trained, because they will not perform any offensive actions. They are just there to cover the front as an armored push. Now, the Soviet Union is kinda long and boring, but not particularly difficult, especially when you are this powerful. So I don't expect much of an issue fighting them. It's cool to get some encirclements, so that's what we're going to try and do. I think I like the idea of a push in here that then we can develop up, and I also like the idea of a push down here in the south with the other armored divisions. As we also keep developing this land, we owe that to the Polish after what we did to them. Ah, okay, yeah, we haven't had a peace conference yet. Now we do. They had a navy. Interesting. Where did they keep it? Now, if you want, you can use the political power, the extra political power for some stuff in here, like less attrition when you push in the Soviet Union. Maybe nice. Let's go on and do that. And then, yeah, take them down. Actually, there is potential for some incredible encirclements in here. So let's see if we can get them, maybe. Yeah, boys. Okay, not as big as it looked initially, but still pretty big. That's what she said. When you push in the Soviet Union, again, always keep an eye on railways and such. Very, very important stuff. It will make the difference, trust me. As it would make the difference to push them instead of going around. I'm thinking we can continue pushing here and maybe touch the edges, the tips. So we can then end them. No, not yet, but it's fine. So we can now set these spies back here. And this guy, the one that is not going to work on the club. Yeah, it is this one. We can send him to Japan on diplomatic pressure. We can improve relations with Japan. And I like to get a non-aggression pact. Since we have a lot of stuff in here that Japan eventually will want to attack. The non-aggression pact, if nothing else, at least slows them down. Well, pretty happy with how things are looking here. This is a huge encirclement in terms of size. I'm not sure about divisions in there, but... Oh, by the way, casualties in the meantime? 3,000 to 600,000. Not bad. They have a decent amount. 32. Okay. Yeah. Decent. Painful times ahead for the Soviet Union. Painful times. Very nice. Big encirclements closed. Now what about the casualties? Okay, now we got 2,000 more casualties. I must admit, that's pretty bad. They got 1 million more. And yeah, I see another great encirclement up here. So why don't we go and get it? Well, we could go on a little mission and take down, quickly take down Crimea. What do you say? Oh, looking good. Looking good down here. Now this southern army can go all the way to Stalingrad. And if needed, push down to Baku. Sometimes that's needed. Most of the time, I must say, that's needed to end the Soviet Union. Especially because I'm afraid we may be a little bit too fast for our collaboration government. Let me see. 166 days. We may end the Soviet Union before that, which is annoying because with 3 collabs, we would get a lot more resources. Not that we need them. But... And by the way, can we get our non-aggression pact, Japan? Are you happy? Yeah, you're happy. Let's do it. I mean, they have almost infinite manpower, but they did lose quite a bit of it. So, if nothing else, they are probably going to struggle with good divisions. These are probably force deployed divisions and pretty bad ones. Please do push for Stalingrad, then. That's all the supplies are there. The only few supplies in the region are there. Wow, Leningrad was completely undefended. That's crazy. That shows in how much trouble the Soviet Union is right now. But somehow we cannot take Stalingrad. Well, I mean, let's make it at least a little bit historical here. Now, we don't have all of the tools to make the better tanks yet, but we can already start upgrading to this model here. And if you press the automatically upgrade, it's the default one. In any case, it has the better howitzer. No, because we stopped pushing. Okay, here in the north, things are going quite well, but I feel like we extended a bit too much this part of the front. In any case, we do need Moscow for sure to capitulate the Soviet Union, so let's go for that. And we can get some nice additional cores. All of this stuff becomes a core. It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, that's the European Union. The Holy Roman Empire is more for flavor, but the European Union, this European Union is absolutely insane. As for the amount of stuff you can core, it's crazy. I think I want to try and rush Moscow up here. Yeah, that's very good. They was undefended because we rushed through the front line very quickly. Very cool stuff. It's funny that all of the casualties you take in the later stages of the war, when you start getting into this lack of supply land, until here, basically we took no casualties. So instead, what we want to do is we want to start spying on the United States, because for the grand finale of this run, we're going to invade the United States. Especially because there is a very cool achievement that we can get by invading the United States, which is a woman in a high castle. And for that you just need to have a female leader as Germany, so it doesn't need to be Eva Braun, it can be Victoria, the Kaiserin. Oh, 38. So boys, this is the end. By the way, this is one of the best Barbarossa. I think my last record was 25,000 casualties, so this may be better. 23,000 casualties versus the Soviet Union, as they will probably go down now. Oh, it's done. It's done. Nice. Incredibly nice. So the Soviet Union is down. You can do whatever you want with them, but I actually don't mind the idea of annexing them. We can core a good part of them. And there we go. That's one big Holy Roman Empire. Now, United States, it's time for my Woman in a High Castle achievement. We're going to replace motorized with mechanized, which is of course better. Technically, I think we can also make a slightly better flame tank with a better flamethrower. Not much of a difference, but everything helps. And we can start building in here, maybe in here too, railways, air bases. These are the most important things to have in the area. Now, we also need to justify on the US. It will take another 100 days. We're going to push with armored plus motorized on this side. The other armored in here. Motorized to follow. And these guys can cover more or less the entire front. Push only if needed. And by the way, since we have so many tanks, I guess we could use some tanks in here. Something like this. Do we have enough tanks? I'm pretty sure we do. Yeah, well, we have only 43,000 tanks available, so yeah, I think it's pretty good. Let's also give them the assault engineer. Let's make this Malcolm very cool. There we go. We got our claim on the US war right away. Let's take care of them. We're not in a hurry, but if we can take them down before Japan gets involved, I mean, we get all of the score and everything. That's pretty cool. Ah, we just stopped here. You thought like, yeah, why not stopping in a tile with absolutely no supplies? That's a great idea. Why didn't I think about that? You, for the love of God, take Detroit. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. Oh, look at that. That's a big encirclement. What are you guys doing there? Actually, US has a lot of divisions. Look at that. They had a lot of divisions. Okay, I must admit that this northern push is not working exactly like I planned. So I'm not going to care about casualties here. I'm just going to care about taking them down fast. See, I told you that this would work in the end. Yeah, already more casualties than against the Soviet Union, but still pretty good. Considering we didn't micro anything. Well, we may have gotten more casualties, but the US is surely going down very fast. And now I think it is that time of the run. The one in which you select your armor divisions and right-click Los Angeles. We got to that point now. There is a moment in every run in which you just click on Los Angeles. Well, I mean, let's take Dallas on the way, you know. It's the big gold rush. The West Coast for the win. It's quite fun to see, I must say. Also not getting casualties in this case because nobody's on the way. I mean, do we not take Las Vegas? Come on. When you're in Nevada, you have to stop at Las Vegas at least once. I love that they actually countered me. Look at that. Not enough though. Not enough. Is it enough? It is enough. So boys, the United States fall after the Soviet Union. They caused us 56,000 casualties. I will take that. I think this was an incredibly fast war. Very smooth sailing with the United States. And that is it. That is it for the United States and that is it for our run. Now, normally I would pop at the United States, but since you can get the achievement Woman in the High Castle, I think you actually need to control, not necessarily to annex them, but well. I mean, I also wouldn't give up on the chance to see a giant Holy Roman Empire in here as well. So now we get one in here, and we get one in here. The Holy Roman Empire dominated the world completely. I mean, it is 1941. Do we want to talk about insanity? Perfect stability, almost perfect war support, insane manpower, insane amount of factories. Amazing, perfect armored templates with mechanized, the best possible tanks, insane stats. And not only we control all of this stuff and all of this stuff indirectly or directly through our puppets, well, we also cored all of this stuff. This is our core. It's not just controlled, it's cored. Not all of the Soviet Union, of course, but the part that we could core. And we are coring more over time. It's crazy. We have the European Union, we have the Holy Roman Empire, and we did it all with Victoria in charge, which gave us the Woman in the High Castle achievement, among other things. Insane modifiers, look at that. It's very, very cool to have. What a fun run. So guys, this is one you must try. It's very easy too. There is a little bit of RNG as always when you change as a major, but we got everything covered, especially in this run. Since we were actually a bit unlucky with the UK, we managed it perfectly. When monarchist Germany won the poll, I wanted to do something special, and I think we managed to do it. Honestly, I didn't think it would be possible to make historical Germany even more powerful, so I was amazed by this strategy. Make sure to give it a try and let me know in the comments how it goes. Other than that, guys, if you enjoy the content I make, please do not forget to support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you very soon in the next video. Bye bye!